the social implications of that in terms of retirement policies, benefit policies, et cetera? And what are some of the actions that organizations can take to address it? In other words, many companies have mandatory retirement at 65. And when I sit here thinking about it, there are reasons for it. I admit it's an arbitrary number, but you want to create room for the younger people coming up to take some of those senior positions. But there's an implication for the people who are leaving, who still have 20 years to go or 30 years to go. Are you thinking about the societal or the
very much
the
so
structural aspects of it, and what are some of the ideas there?
Okay, so there's a whole talk that I give about the relationship between millennials and middlescents, I call it. You brought up, I'd say, two major themes. One is the whole social, which we won't have time to totally unpack, but we can talk at the tent tonight. So one is this idea of why 65 as retirement age. It doesn't make sense anymore. And I am not a politician, and so I won't even start saying, so here's what I think we should do. What I know to be true, again, based on research and facts, is that people don't want to retire, they just don't want to be owned by their job anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
That's real good. Yes, that sums it up right there.
Bingo. If companies would create opportunities for more flexible schedules, millennials, they don't want to be working all the time. Maybe we could create something interesting. So one, the age 65 needs to be changed, because the reality is people don't want to retire then, but they don't necessarily want to work full time, and we live longer, so that number doesn't make sense. Then how do we create runway for younger people? In the HR world, how many of you, anyone in HR? I don't know if you've heard about the brain drain. So what I'll hear from millennials is, I don't want to work for my parents. I don't want to report to my mom. And what I hear from middlescents is, I'm tired of babysitting. Sound familiar? So what do we do? Except for my son, he's the best. So what do we do about this? We have to build bridges between the two. The brain drain is that as smart as millennials can be and as skilled, we have a new value exchange that we need to enact. Where, as middlescents, we have wisdom, we have emotional intelligence, and we have failed. And millennials want some of that. They want to learn from us. They don't want to do that again. And what do they have that we want? Let's face it, digital intelligence. How do I make this thing work? What is your world view? Because I want to understand that to take that forward. So the combination of flex time and understanding what we each need, because companies need both. And if you lose either end of the spectrum, you're going to fail. So it's a new value exchange that companies need to understand. That's the short answer.
So two things. On that topic, there are companies who are trying to drive that.